Good morning. Thank you for stopping by my channel today to watch my videos. I know this video is long overdue, and I'm talking about my trip to Ghana last year, November, December, and I wanted to share some of the experience that I had on my way there. But this video is just going to talk about my experience with British Airways. It is different. It stands out to me because that was my first time on a British Airways and my first time going to London. I've never been to London before, so that was my first time. So, but this video is going to really focus on my experience with British Airways because, child, it was. All right, we'll get to it. All right, so let me start. So I had purchased my ticket for my flight. I got the best deal that I could get, and I was all excited. And I had to do my COVID test before the flight itself. Okay, I did that and went to the airport. There was some delays getting, like the attestation, some COVID-19 testing stuff, booking appointment stuff that I needed for my final destination in Accra, Ghana. So I was delayed and I was booked on another flight, all right? But this part of my journey was handled by American Airlines, okay? So they did their job. They got me on a flight that got me to Dallas, DFW. So when I got to DFW, my flight wasn't delayed. So, for instance, if I hadn't, my first flight would have got me there to DFW earlier, and I would have to wait longer to get my next flight to London, right? But despite the delay in Austin, the flight that I got booked on got me to DFW, and I was going to catch the same flight that I was going to take to London. So meaning that because of the delay in Austin, when I got to DFW, I was supposed not to wait longer. Like the layover time was shorter. All right. So I arrived in Dallas, Fort Worth, maybe around, let me say 7 something, 6, 7 something. All right. So the flight was supposed to take off at 8:30, and then it got moved to 8:42, and then it moved to 9 o'clock. It got moved forward, so the time kept updating, like 15 minutes and go to 30 minutes, and then it will go to 1 hour. So at this point, like, we were all like, the airport seemed empty because the workers at the restaurants and the cafes, they are all gone, they are closed. It was just us. They've closed the shops, and what we were told, because of course after sitting there for 2 hours at this point, we were wondering, like, why is it that we are getting delayed over and over, like the time keeps getting pushed forward. So they have a customer service rep. So that's a customer service rep for British Airways. So a lot of people went there and they decided to get on the PA and say that they were having some mechanical issues with the flight. So they are going to fix it so before we leave. Of course, when you hear that the flight that you're going to be on needs some fixing, like they need a mechanic to be fixing some stuff on the flight, you're definitely going to be patient, because you don't want to be in the air and realize that some boat or screw just flew off some parts of the airplane. So when we heard that, it was frustrating, but it was something that you cannot fuzz over, because you know that it is for your own safety. You don't want to rush them so that something, God forbid, something happens in the air. You don't want anything to go wrong. So we all, felt like, oh, okay, it sucks, but hey, it's for our own safety. Want to make sure that these mechanics, they do their job. They do a good job, not just like something in the hair, but they do it well. So we stayed there till 12 midnight. Yeah, 12 midnight, we're told that now everything is ready. Remember, we got to the airport somewhere around 6, 7. The flight was originally supposed to leave the place at 8 something, and now it is 12 midnight. So at 12:10, we began boarding this flight. We got on the flight. It was like a bigger jet, and on our way to London. All right. So, I mean, on the flight, everything seemed okay, but there was this noise from, I guess, the engine. It was like vibrating noise from the engine from the beginning. So before the flight took off, it was like on the ground for a while, like for this sound to subside before we took off. So when we took off, the noise just, got quieter. So we arrived in London. I was supposed to arrive in London earlier, of course, because of the delay that we had here. We arrived in London. We're supposed to arrive in London at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. in London. All right. We're supposed to arrive in London somewhere 6 to 7 a.m. in London. All right. However, we arrived in London at around 1 p.m. Okay. Now, my connecting flight from London to Accra was 12 something, like was a little bit past 12. Now, by the time we arrived in London, my flight was gone. So when we arrived in London, went through customs and then went to British Airways, connection, and we talked to the agent, and then there we found out that, well, your flight is gone, so they're going to give us like a place to stay. So it was a little chaotic. I mean, for me personally, I'm sure for other people, their experience in that with this part might be slightly, maybe more pleasant than I had, because that was my first time coming to London, first time in Heathrow Airport. This airport is massive. I've heard a lot about it, but this is massive. It is big, huge. And I've been in other airports, but I feel like this was, bigger, the biggest so far, in my perspective. Like, I haven't looked at the size. I haven't Googled that, so I might be wrong that might be the biggest, because I've been to JFK. But for my perspective, due to the confusion of, like finding places, getting to the terminals and all that, I felt that this was like the biggest airport that I've ever been in. So we went to the agents and talked to their representatives, and they were on the phone talking to, I guess, some other people trying to get hotel accommodations and bus tickets for people. And it looks like the other people that they were talking to them on the phone were all like jacked up, like they were crammed. And so you can see the British Airways representative rolling their eyes because they're frustrated, because the other people, they feel like the other people are not acting quicker, like giving them the information faster, the other people on the other end of the phone. And I bet they are just, like crammed up, like, because it was chaotic. But I got help by this lady, and she was sweet and nice, and she told me about this Muslima. She told me, I asked her, so okay, what do I do? Like, I mean, going to a hotel, what do I do? I've never had a layover where I've gone to a hotel. The first time I would have done that was when I went to Istanbul, and that was the time that I found out that American citizens could not get out of the airport and go out to the hotel because of some diplomatic issues with our president at that time. So that would have been my first time to, like get leave the airport to go to stay in a hotel that had been paid by the airline, but that didn't happen. So this was my first time that I was having to go to a hotel and then paid by the airline, and then for me to come back the next day to the airport and then take my flight to continue my journey. So the lady gave me like some like vouchers or some coupons basically. So they gave me 2 bus passes One was like to get me out of the airport to the hotel, and then the other was to get me back from the hotel to the airport. And then they give me two other passes. They give me a voucher for the hotel, so it was, I think, two vouchers for the hotel. So for the night that I check in, and then for my breakfast stuff, yeah, I think it was one or two vouchers for the hotel. I've forgotten. All right. So the lady explained to me, and I was like, so where do I catch the bus? Because I'm like, I don't want to, my day has been long enough. I don't want to, miss my next flight, because I'm not planning to spend the remainder of my holidays on my journey to get to the destination. So she was like, oh, with this voucher, and she was pointing to the bus voucher. She was like, oh, this one says something connections. Oh my God, I just forgot. It says something connections. It's like when you see the bus with this name, that says something connections. It's like when you see that, that would be the bus for you. Okay. I was like, okay. So for that part of my interaction with the British Airways employee, that was cool, because this lady was nice, was helpful, more like American. Okay, that was the American type of customer service, and you'll understand why I'm saying that was the type of American customer service in another video, because British customer service and American customer service, I found strange differences. Okay, but this lady was just giving me the American customer service, and I'm here for it. All right, so got the stuff, and then she told me that, well, what about your COVID test? I was like, oh yeah. So the problem here was that my COVID test, you need to have taken your COVID test within the past 3 days. So I took my COVID test in America. By the time I arrive in Ghana, it should be still within 72 hours, so that it will still be valid, right? And regardless of that, I will still have to do my COVID test in Ghana, which I had paid for in the US before, getting on my flight. And I was like, yeah, it's just like, well, since you're going to, you miss your flight to Ghana today, your COVID test will go into 4 days, because since you're going to be in London, your COVID test will be beyond 72 hours. So just it's best you need to book another COVID test here. I was like, where? Like, where am I going to book the COVID test? It's like, oh, there's a COVID testing place in the airport, but it will be at a different terminals. So you just have to look them up. So I got on my laptop. Now I have Wi-Fi at the airport. So I got on my laptop, look at the airport. I have the airport map on my computer, just making sure I know my bearing, because this was like a tough place to navigate, and everything like inside the airport looks like very industrial, like it's like you're walking through like a big factory. That's how it felt to me. But there are some parts that you walk and it looks like a normal airport, but some parts of the airport look like you are walking through like a factory, some kind of, anyway. So I got to I was able to find this company that does COVID testing at within two terminals, and one was, I think, Terminal 1 and then Terminal 4. So I was like, okay, I will want to go to the wanted to leave this terminal, because now I have my hotel booking, I have everything, so I can go and book. So I booked the COVID test, right? I booked it like, okay, I want to book it and get the test, and so that tomorrow morning my results will be in, and I will still be good for the 3 days for Ghana, right? 72 hours for Ghana, right? Well, I got there and they're like, oh, the one that you want, it's not, we don't have it available. And then when I tried to pay with my debit card, it was flagged. My bank sent a notification, a text message, but I couldn't receive a text message in London. I had Wi-Fi that I could receive, whatchamacallit, like WhatsApp calls and stuff, but when you send text message, it goes to your network provider. It goes to their system, right? But now I was in London where I was cut off from my network provider. I didn't have roaming. I'm not gonna pay for roaming, because roaming charges are more expensive. So now when my bank sends a message, I wouldn't get it. I will see it in the email that they sent the message, but it wouldn't come on my phone as a text message, right? So I decided to use like a credit card instead. I'm wondering why I didn't even think about that the first time. So I did that, and it went through. But the thing was that I asked when I was going through, payment and dealing with the payment issue. I asked a friend of mine to help me with that. That will be in another video because I need to blast this COVID testing company for what they did, and they ended up charging like 4 times on my friend who tried to like make the payment. I was like, okay, maybe my friend is in America. When they try to pay, maybe it will go through. By this time, I hadn't even figured out that, I could use my credit card, right? My friend tried, but they kept her bank tried flag it multiple times. So we felt that it didn't go through, right? So it's like when you try to do it, it said it didn't go through. And my friend was like, why? Or is it because I'm not in London and you're buying something in London? What is it? So I was like, okay, let me use my credit card because I think Chase is, global. Wherever you go, you don't even need to tell them that you're going to this place. Your credit card will work. I use my Chase card, and bingo, it goes through. Okay, this is going to be a part of another video. And when I paid for my COVID test, and it was like £119. Okay, not euros, pounds. So it was like 160 and something, and some change dollars. So I paid for that. But before I got to this point, before I left, the talking to the customer service for British Airways, I talked to them. I was like, so my COVID test would have been fine, but you guys, we had the mechanical issue that delayed us for over 4 hours in DFW, and then so it made me miss my other flight. So you guys, you're the one costing me this extra funds to pay for a COVID test that I didn't have to do. She's like, yeah, after when you get to your destination, you can, file a claim, and then let them, they will reimburse you for that. That was her message, okay? So went out, got to the hotel. That too was, a whole mess getting to the hotel, like the bus, because the bus name that they had on the voucher and the actual name on the bus were two different names. The bus was like, they call it like Hopper something, bus Hopper or something Hopper, and the voucher said something connections, right? So now I'm standing there looking at like, where is this connections? Something connections limited, something, like whatever the first word is, limited, connections limited. That was what I was looking for. Well, it turns out that the Hopper was the bus that this company owns. So the actual name on the bus is a Hopper, but it's owned by whatever that company name was, Connections Limited. And it was written somewhere around the tire of the car. That was how I saw it, like somewhere around the tire of the car. I saw it on the side. I was like, oh, so this is the bus because I was like, okay, where is this bus? The name that I have here, it looks like none of the buses coming and going have this name. So it took me a while, and trust me, when I said the customer service in UK is nothing like the American customer service. Some of the bus drivers, you walk up to them, you talk to them like, oh, okay, please, I have this, voucher. Which hotel, which bus do I get? They will not talk to you. They're like, I'm not on the clock. Yeah. They'll tell you that I'm not on the clock. And I'm talking about the employees at the airport. When you ask people a question, the person will be on their phone talking, and then they'll tell you like, oh, excuse me, sir, where can I find this? And then they'll tell you, no, I'm on break. Yeah, I'm on break. And I know like you might experience a little bit of that in America, but it's not common. Most people will be willing to step out and help you, even if they are on their break. I've had to do that, help people so many times when I work in customer service. I had to, sometimes I'll be on my break going to buy lunch, and then a customer will approach me, can you help me find this? And even though I'm on my break, I'll help them. If times that I couldn't help them, I would send them, I would tell them like, okay, follow me, and then, talk to another employee who's, on the clock, and tell them, hey, do you mind helping this customer? I want my lunch and I have a few minutes to get back. So that I'll send the person to somebody else to help them. But these people at the UK airport, the employees, the bus workers, oh my goodness. They will tell you, I'm on my lunch. They will not talk to you. The bus driver. So finally, the bus got to the bus stop where we were standing waiting, because finally at some point I figured, I was like, okay, it looks like the Hopper bus, because there were some other passengers who had also missed their flight. And they were going to the hotel, so we will ask, like, what hotel are you going to? They're like, oh, I'm going to this hotel. So you figure out, oh, you are all going to the same hotel. Like several of you are going to the same hotel, so you know that, okay, then I guess this is the bus I need to take. So this bus pull up, and the bus driver turns off his light, locks up the door, and he's inside the bus. And we were outside. It was cold. Thank God that when I was going, I had this big jacket that I took with me. For some reason, I had this jacket because, oftentimes in the flight, it might be okay, the temperature might be okay. At some point, it gets very cold. So that's why I brought my jacket. But the coldness in London was something else, because, hey, I'm from Texas, okay? It is warm here. This is not the kind of cold that people deal with every day. So we were standing there like shivering and all that. Good thing that my jacket had a hoodie. And you see these older ladies, like elderly women, in there. One of them was in a wheelchair and all that. We were waiting, like shaking, like some Indian passengers who didn't have jacket on, so they were in like their traditional Indian clothing. Man, if I was shaking in what I was wearing, definitely I could tell that they were shaking. And this bus driver had locked the door, and he was inside. The bus wouldn't open because it wasn't time for him to, open the door for us to get in. Yeah, I've been on the bus many times in Texas, but most of the time, even if the time is not up, the bus driver will open the door. They lock the door when there's another bus in front of them. So if there's like two buses are available going to the same route, but one needs to leave first before the other, then the second bus will lock their door so that the passengers will get into the one that is about to leave, right? But this one, it was just one bus that had just come to park at where we were standing at the bus stop, and he had locked the door and was inside, and we were shivering outside. This guy waited. Some people would knock on the door. I remember this man from, I think, somewhere in Eastern Europe because of his accent, but I can't tell what country that was. Knock on the door, like he had his, like printed paper asking, and I could tell he's asking for, like, he's going to this hotel, like, where is that? Like, the bus driver would not open the door. He wouldn't even come to the door and say nothing. He was in there, and oh my God, they wouldn't talk to anybody. And so we thought that, okay, maybe this is not the bus that is supposed to take us. And this sucker stayed in there till it was like, I think 3 minutes past the time that is posted on the board, because there's like a bus schedule posted on there. It was 3 minutes past his time. Then he turns on his light, opens the door for us to get in. Oh, all of a sudden he's being nice, helping passengers get in. Oh, okay, come on in. I was like, wow. Like, you guys can be this cold, cold towards people. So because it was not on the clock. So at this point, it was beginning to click with me that when people are cold towards you, workers are cold towards you, it means that they are not on the clock. And when they are not on the clock, they are not going to help you. They are only friendly and nice when they are on the clock. But that's, like I said, I'll talk more about it in another video. Okay, so now let's get back to British Airways. Okay, got to the hotel, nice hotel. The outside wasn't convincing as a nice hotel, but inside was beautiful. They had buffet, got some food to eat, went to my room. Of course, I had let them check in my carry-on baggage. Okay, my carry-on bag. So I had just my backpack. So I had my hand baggage just my backpack, but my carry-on, I let them check it in US because they're like, oh, we have extra room in the. If you want us to check your, your carry-on, we will check in for you free. And I was like, sure. Well, that had my toothbrush, that had my change of clothes, that had my, toiletries, stuff that I could, change and, freshen up for the next day. But I wasn't thinking that there was going to be any freshen up for me to do because I thought that it was going to be a continuous journey, right? Well, so I got to the hotel. I don't have toothbrush. I don't have toothpaste. So now I'm trying to figure out. The good thing was that I had this little brush that I was given when I went to do my dental braces. When I went to put in my dental braces the first time, they gave me this little brush that you can use it to brush between your teeth. So that was what I was using. So and I wanted to get the foamy effect. Okay, don't blame me. So I use soap to brush my teeth because I wanted to feel like it's cleaning. Okay, so I dip the little brush in the soap and then brush it in my teeth and then just quickly put water in my mouth and then spread it out and stuff like that. And I had the lotion, the body lotion they had. Oh my god, it was useless. You put it on your body and you get ashy in seconds. But I'll say the food was good in the hotel. They had coffee. Of course, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I, just warm up some water. And I had vitamin C packet that, I drank it to keep myself, warm. Because, there's heater in the hotel, but it looks like there's a control on that heater. So you will not getting enough heat, so just a little bit, so I would just be under the blanket and then sleep. The hotel was comfortable, nonetheless it was comfortable, and it was a nice stay. The next morning, got my breakfast, caught the bus to the airport. Right now, when I got to the airport, I had to now go to do my COVID test. Went, did my COVID test, and had to go and recheck in. Okay, now remember, my baggage, my luggage and my carry-on, they are all gone. I don't have them, okay? They are not in my hand. But I need to go check in as if I'm now checking in to get on another flight, right? So I had to come in just like the other people who are in London and who are getting on their flight. So got there, check in, and was finally able, had to wait for a while. Went through security screening again. I spent a lot of time at the airport. It was a long time. I had to wait for my COVID test, check it on my computer. So when I went to even check in, I showed my COVID test results on my computer. So just in case you find yourself in similar situation, I hope that you have your laptop with you where you can show stuff to them, or you can show stuff on your phone. Because I forgot to mention this. The adapter, right? Your adapter for plugging things in your phone. That thing, the US one is 2 prongs. UK uses 3 prongs, right? I had the one that I use for my international travels. It was in the bag that was already, gone. The bag that was not in my hands. So now I was walking around with my iPhone charger with these 2 prongs that cannot work in any of the outlets. So my phone had that. So when I talk about you should have your laptop, then I'm talking about my laptop. So when my phone battery died, then my laptop was there that I could use to, look at these documents, make sure that, kept the charge up. I couldn't charge it though, but I just made sure that I wasn't using my computer for surfing the web and, wasting the battery power for, But yeah, and then finally, afternoon time, remember I got to the airport from my hotel maybe around 8 something, because my COVID test appointment was around 9. The flight that I was going on to Accra, Ghana, we got on there around, it was going I think the same time. It was leaving at I think 12 something. So imagine I was at the airport the entire time because I didn't want to leave anymore because I didn't have any more of the bus tickets. They gave me bus tickets, 2 bus tickets, one to take me out of the airport the night before, and the other to bring me back. So at this point, if I wanted to leave the airport, then I need to pay. And at this point, I wasn't gonna spend any money in London because that was my plan. My plan was to get to London, continue my journey. So the flight to Accra, Ghana too was delayed. I was like, why? Like, it's like getting together British Airways. Like, I don't know if you guys have older models of, these flights, but damn, it's like mechanical issues all the way, so they fixed whatever needed to be fixed, and then we got on the flight, and then got to Ghana. All right, so arrived at Ghana late because of the lateness. We arrived in Ghana like an hour, a little bit over an hour and a half late than the time we're supposed to arrive there. And so the other comment that I wanted to make about the service of British Airways, the food was okay. They served the same food from DFW to London. They serve the same food DFW to London, and from London to Accra. The same food, some pasta and some. No, so we were served. I think we were served twice or something, but the food wasn't good. Okay, the food wasn't good. They had some jollof rice. Okay, and this jollof. Oh my God. Like, who makes jollof with just veggies? Like, they make the jollof with veggies. You don't have the taste of meat. It was just bland. It seems like tomato sauce and somebody made, like, cooked some rice and then they mixed it together. It tastes awful. But they were, the flight attendants, they were good with, like, giving people drinks. When people ask for drink, they would get. People ask for things, they will give them to you. So that was a good thing. But something that I found weird about this flight or British Airways was that from my journey from DFW to London, so when you sit in the flight, there's this envelope, like a little pouch that they had, like earphones that they have wrapped around in there, right? So before we got to London, the flight attendants came around and they were showing this video of the charity work that they are doing, their charity foundation, helping some youth with, keeping them out of trouble. Like, they have like a recreational center that British Airways, I guess, sponsors part of it, or I don't know. So they were showing this video of, all these black kids, Pakistani kids, these other minorities in London, that they help the kids there with, keeping them out of trouble, making sure they have places to, have, and that's a good thing, okay? I'm not, complaining about that. So they came around that envelope that had your earphones, whatever change that you have on you, like if you have some, extra coins, any change, you can put it in there towards their charity foundation, all right? And so some passengers, will put like money in it, so that, and then gives them. They said they don't care about the currency that the money is in. So, but if you have change and stuff, you put the money in the envelope, and then the flight attendants, they came around, and then you give them back to them. You are not required to do that, but if you do that, that would be a good thing. So I did that, all right? But the reason why I brought this thing up was that was a good thing for British Airways to do, because sometimes, hey, people are feeling generous after eating their food and seeing, But I realized that from the journey from London to Accra, they served the food, and they had different nationalities as flight attendants, which was also a good thing. They had like somebody Italian, and she would have like a flag pin on her shirt that showed that she's Italian. There was one lady, she's a Nigerian. She had like a flag pin Nigerian flag on her shirt. So I think that was a beautiful thing that they were showing, like, oh, these people from these nationalities, they work for us. They're showing diversity. So hey, that I give it up to British Airways. That is awesome. That is good thing. Diversity is appreciated. Is, like, I could see that people who spoke the languages of their passengers were, like, people were interacting with them more. So that's a good thing. You feel like, hey, this lady, she's a Nigerian, but it's like, hey, can you get me this and stuff like that? And then she was explain things. I felt that was a good thing. So kudos to British Airways for that part. All right, but guys, this video is not to give you kudos, but let me continue. But what I found weird was that when we were about to arrive in Accra, Ghana, the flight attendants didn't come around and do this charity thing that they did when I was coming from America. I found that weird, right? They didn't even show their videos of this charity thing that they're doing. That didn't do anything, and they didn't bring the envelopes around. So this time, I already had money in my envelope ready to go because of what I saw them do when I was coming from America to London. I thought they were going to repeat the same thing, right? And I was waiting, holding it, waiting, and did it. And the person didn't come around. So I, called the attention of one of the flight attendants. And then I asked the lady, I was like, will you guys not take the charity thing? She's like, oh, you have one? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, thank you so much for your donation. And she took it. And she left with it. But they didn't ask for anybody. So British Airways, what are you trying to say? That the people going to Africa, they are not charitable? They don't feel like donating to anybody? I'm not saying anything, but y'all know I'm saying something. Like, why is it that the people coming from America to London, for them, you can ask for, charity contribution or donations, but the people going from London to Accra, you think that they will not be charitable? You didn't even give them the chance. Okay, whatever British Airways assumption of, whether, oh, Africans, they need money, why would they be giving money and stuff? I don't know if that is yours assumption, but at least give people the opportunity. You don't know which other people who might have felt like me would have felt charitable and wanted to donate. So British Airways, is over to you. You're being shady towards people going to Africa. That is not cool. But aside that annoyance, of course, got to the airport. My luggage came in. I thought it had come in earlier, but I didn't think that because I arrived in London late with, because of the flight issues, my luggage was still with me. Well, not around me personally, but it was in London. So it came on the flight that I came on. But somehow I was thinking that my luggage was already in Ghana. Anyway, so there was like a little bit commotion in when I got to Accra, like trying to locate my bag. But finally, I got my bag. But the biggest complaints that I have with British Airways was that when I was coming, I didn't have much of, an issue with them in particular. But when I got here, I filed a claim about, like, you guys let us wait for 4 hours. Now I had to do my COVID test, and I was told that you guys are going to reimburse me for that because it was because of your delay that I have to pay about $161 for COVID test. So you guys should reimburse me. And for that, do you know what British Airways told me? They said that they cannot reimburse me. They told me that they are sorry. Sorry, guys. Airline company, and this will be the last time that I would take the British Airways because I felt like they were not straightforward. They don't treat their customers the same way. I feel like I probably got the hotel booking because it was from US to London. Looking at the way that they came for donations when we're coming from America to London, but they didn't do that for people going from London to Accra. So British Airways, I felt that you guys did not, honor your commitment to your passengers. If that's how you treat everybody, like, you let me sit for 4 hours. It wasn't my fault that you guys buy old and raggedy airlines. Okay, It's not my fault that you buy planes that are old, that have mechanical issues. But to have people sit at airport for 4 hours and then they miss their flight, and then you think that because you put me in a hotel, that should be enough compensation, as if I was looking for a hotel stay. I wanted to continue my journey to my destination, get to my destination, and be cool with it. I wasted a whole day of my journey in London dealing with this type of, issues with British Airways, because it was y'all's fault. Y'all's fault that I missed my connection flight. They had nothing to do with me. And all you guys will say that, unfortunately, we are not responsible for your COVID test. We said, whose fault was that? Whose fault? Who let me miss my flight? Whose fault was that? So from this experience, that was my first time on British Airways, and sadly, this is probably going to be the last time. If there's any other flight, even if I were going to London again, if there's any other flight available, I will take that instead of British Airways. I will always skip British Airways, because I feel like they tell you one thing and then they do the other, and then they expect you to, be okay with it. They expect to say sorry, and they think that sorry will be, should be okay. All right, so guys, this is just my horrible experience with British Airways. The kind of like inconsistency in their services that they delivered from US, and the services that they delivered from London to Accra, and the things that the financial loss that they caused to me as a passenger. And then they both face lying about you will get reimbursed for that, but then I wasn't, and it was all thanks to them. That journey cost me extra money that it shouldn't have. All right, but guys, if you have to travel with British Airways, if that's what you want to do, yes, but just know that when you run into problems, when they cost you money at the airport, it is likely that they are not going to give you money back. It's likely they are not going to give you money back. They'll tell you to file a claim, but it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so that is my advice to you. Use it however you want, but British Airways, that is not a good thing. That is not a good look. So from this time on, I'm not gonna take your flight again. I'm sure you will not feel you're not gonna miss me, but it's just terrible if you do that to several people, and one day you will need all of us. Okay, but guys, I know I've talked for so long. This is a lengthy video, but this is where I'm going to end this video about my experience with British Airways, missed my flight, and all the drama that accompanied with it. I didn't even talk about everything, but guys, it's too long, and so I'm just going to end here. But guys, if you enjoy my video, please click the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I share more information about immigration, dealing with immigration. If you want to come to America for school, Greek Card Lottery, you can join my Facebook groups: Greek Card Lottery Africa, Greek Card Lottery Ghana, Moving to America /440 TV, Greek Card Lottery Winners. I have a WhatsApp group, Greek Card Lottery Winners. That group is at the moment full. I'll be opening up Greek Card Lottery Winners for DV 2023 on May 7th. So guys, if you want to be part of the group, then May 7th, as soon as you are selected, send me an email to 440tv@gmail.com. Send me an email and let me verify that you are indeed a winner, and then so that I can add you to the group, because there are some people who now want to be part of the WhatsApp group, but the group is full now. So you don't want to wait too long and then later, miss the chance to be part of the group, where you get much information, a lot of help, interactive group, interact with other winners like yourself. All right. But guys, share my videos with your friends and family. Like my official Facebook page, Wafoe TV. I love you, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.